So today we want to continue from where we stopped, pandas, which was what we did last class. So I'll just refresh what I did. So like I said, pandas is like a library that houses some functions that you can use in manipulating your data. So and one of the ways we can use Python, the first thing to do why we want to use pandas is to import the pandas into our workspace. So we import pandas as PD. I already said that last week. And we talked about dictionary and converting dictionaries to tables. And we talked about all of this. How we can convert dictionaries to tables. Someone's mind. So how we can convert our pandas, our dictionary, our dictionary to table. And we do something like that. We have a dictionary called data. And there we have three keys: name, age, and city. These keys will form the table header. The values of the table will be these ones inside the list: Alice, Bob, Charlie, and David. And like I said, total number of elements you have in a list in your dictionary must be the same thing. So if I'm having four elements here in this list, four items in this list, for the second key I must have four too. For the third one I must have four too. So that is the principle of our dictionary. So then I can convert this dictionary, I can convert it to what? A table using a function called pd dot what? Data frame. pd dot data frame. Sorry, how many of us was not in our last class? Someone wants to join.
I was not there, but I've watched the video.
All right, no problem. Okay, that's good. So that we won't just. I think where did we stop in the last class? I think we've done this. We've done all of this. So let's start from lock and iLock. So we have a table called the F1. The name of the table is the F1. If I call out the F1 now, I must have this is going to throw an error because I've forget pandas. So now I can, yeah. So now I said last week that in SQL, if I want to select two columns, that is the country column and the cost column, what would I do? I also select country comma cost from this table name, and the table name is the F1. So I also select country comma cost from the F1. So now in this case, in Python, what would I do? I will just put the F1, the name of the table, then the two columns I want to bring out, that I want to see, I'll put them in this what? In this double square bracket. Double square bracket. If I use a single square bracket, it's not going to come out as a table. It's going to come out as a series. So that's why I'm using a double square bracket. It's going to come out as a table. So we're having these two things. So we have the country and we have the course. The country is UK and the course is Python. Then another one, I think I talked about the type. The type of this is the data frame. Can you see the pandas data frame? So what if I want to see only one column, the country column, and I run this? If I run this, can you see it is not coming out as what? A data frame. It's not coming out as a table. It's coming out as a series. As a series. So if I want it to come as a data frame, I will double the brackets. I will double it. I will double it, and it's coming out as what? A proper table. So Let's continue. So now let's continue from lock and iron. So what is so for us to select some values on our table, for us to select some values on our table, um, let's assume that the name of this column is column student. The name of this column is column age. The name of this column is column country. The name of this column is column course. And the name of this column is column marks. The name of this column is column 0. Sorry, the name of this row is row 0, row 1, row 2, row 3. Let's assume that I want to pick data structures. This particular one, data structures. I want to pick it, data structures. So that's going to be row 1 course, column course, row 1 column course. If I want to pick web development, it's going to be row 3 column course. If I want to pick 76, it's going to be row 3 column marks, right? So now that is what we use lock for. So the name of the table is the F1. Dot lock is the name of the function. So I'll put the name of the row and the name of the column, the name of the row and the name of the column. If I put that, what is in row 1? This is row 1 and column course data structures. So if I run that, I'll have this. Someone was to tell me. So if I have that, I'm going to have column row 1 column course. So that is how I'm going to get this. So your lock is just used to select values in a table. So instead of using the name of the column itself, can we use maybe the number of the column? This is column 0, column 1, column 2, column 3. So instead of using the name of the column, can I use maybe the position of the column? Yes, you can use that. So in that case, I'm not going to be using lock again. I'll be using iLock. iLock. So if I want to pick data structures, I'm going to say row 1 column 3 because this course is on course this course is what column 3. This is column 0, column 1, column 2, column 3. So it's going to be on row 1 column 3. I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. Row 1 column 3 data structures. So now if you look at this is just an index that Python just brought out with our table. This is not something we created. So it's going to come out especially when you convert your dictionaries to tables. So what we want to do is we don't want to have that. We want to have this student's column as the first column here. That is, we want to set this student's column as the index. So how do we do that? It's just simple. So your new GF1, your new one, that is the new table now, is going to be the former table dot set index to the student. What is the meaning of index? Index is this thing. This position is called position index. This position, this is the index position. So I'm saying now my table is going to be equal to the former table which had 0, 1, 2, 3 as index, but now dot set the index now to be what? Student. Set the students to the student. So that's how to convert. So it might not necessarily be that it is the student that you want to convert. It might be another thing. It might be the marks that you want to convert as index. It might be the course that you want to convert as index. So how do you convert it? You can just use set index, and the column you want to set as index will be inside that bracket. So once you do that, let's run that. So we have this. Can you see? So the 0, 1, 2, 3 is gone. 0, 1, 2, 3 is gone. I hope you can hear me and I hope you understand what I'm doing.
Yes, sir. I understand.
Okay. So now if I want to use lock to select this 89, it's going to be rotary column marks, right? Rotary column marks. If I want to select 89, rotary column 9. So instead of using Terry and Max, I want to use the position. I'm not using lock again. I want to use iLock now. If I want to use iLock, what am I going to do? I'm going to say Terry is what? Row 2. This is row 0, row 1, row 2. So I'll be using 2. And Max is what? Column. This is column 0, column 1, column 2, column 3. So Max is what? Column 3. So I will say row 2, column 3, which is same thing as what? 89. So, Mrs. Nkem, were you the one that said you don't understand?
Yes, sir.
So, do you understand now?
Yes, sir.
So,
So,
Mr. Ahmed, do you mean we won't count student as a column, as in the start of the column?
yes, we
Student
won't
won't be
count.
there.
Yes, student is now an index. It's not, you don't count it as a column again. Your column starts from age now. So, Mrs. Nkem, since you don't understand, if I want to select China using lock, what would I use?
China will be one, two, and
F1,
one. Yes, the F1 dot lock
yes.
ahead, then two and one.
I want to pick China. It's not going to be 2 and 1. Oh.
Oh, you said I lock now, abi?
I said lock, lock, lock.
Okay, okay, lock, okay. Terry and the country, the
Terry,
F1 dot
command.
country.
So, can you see China came out, which is good. So, let's continue. Let's have our DF1 again. What can we use our lock and eye lock for again? So there are some cases maybe you want to slice your table. You want to slice your table. That is, you want to take it from a particular row and some particular column. Coming, let me open my Excel to show you something. No, sorry. So now, look at this case. I'm not selecting the table. What I need is from here to here. I need from here to this point. How do I select this range in Python? What I just highlighted. How do I select it in Python? How do I do that? So let's continue. So we have this. What do I use? I use my iLock and I can use lock too. So we can use lock and iLock to slice the table into our preferred new data frame, that is our new table. Using data, you use what will be inside your square bracket now will be your start and stop for row, then start and stop for column. Let me open the Excel. Start and stop is starting from row 1 to row what? 27 for rows. And for column, starting from row A to row F for columns. So that is what we mean by start and stop. Starting for the row, you do for the rows first. Start and stop for rows. Start and stop for columns. So now, let's go back to our Python. So we are using iLock. We are not using lock here. We are using iLock. So they said we are starting from what? Row 0. Row 0 to row. This is row what? Mr. Rio. From row 0 to row what? Mrs. Anu, are you there?
Are you calling?
Mr. Rio.
Are you calling me?
Yes. So this is row 0
Okay.
to row what? This one am highlighted.
Row 0 to 3. You said 3.
Yeah. So it's not going to be 3. I said something about this. Mrs. Anu, do you want to
And
help
it will
out?
be 2. It will be 2. 0 to 2.
Okay. It's going to be from row 0 to, because I said whenever we are taking a range, that is, we are going from one point to another point, Python is going to remove 1 from the last range. So if this is row 0 to row what? We are saying 3, but Python will remove 1. So this is from row 0 to row 2. So this is from row 0 to row 1. Sorry, column 0 to column 1. So column 0, column 1. That is why we are having only 2 columns. Yeah, I said from row 0 to row 2. So that is, look at it, row 0, row 1, row 2, and that's the end. And that is the end. So the name of my new table, this table, I want to call it R. So I'm saying R is equals to what? That my df1 table, I want to use ilog to slice it. Okay, how are you going to slice? Start from row 0 to row 2, then from column 0 to column 2. Sorry, from column 0 to column 1. This is column 1, sorry. And I can call out my R. Then I have this. Someone wants to join the class. So I have this. Now, can we use log too? Yes, we can use log. So I want to use log for this same thing. I'm not using ilog. I want to use log. So it's going to be from row what? Who's going to help us? Let me call on someone. Mr. Dara. So help us. I want to use log now for this same thing. Let's call that one W. W now is equal to df1 dot log. Oh yeah. Mr. Dara.
Okay.
So let me show you the table. We want to assume this now using log. So how are we going to do it?
Okay, to be Terry and country.
You need to, for the row, you need to take a range. So the
Okay,
row
for
has
the
to
row,
start.
yes. That would be 0. David and David and country.
David and country. No,
And country.
it has to start from. You didn't get the explanation for iLock. This is from row 0, right, to row 3. It's not, you not started touching column yet. This is for column. This is still the row part, right? So this is from row 0 to row 2. Exactly. This is from row 0 to row 2. Hold on, just give me a minute, sorry. Sorry, I lost connection. Sorry. Just please just give me a minute. I'm coming. Hold on. A minute. Hello, mommy. Sheriff máa wá gbà á. Mo ń ṣe kinní lọ́wọ́ ni, mo ń ṣe class lọ́wọ́ ni. Ok, kò sí èèyàn kankan tó ṣì ń bọ̀ inside ibi báyìí láti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Sheriff máa wá, mo ti sọ fún already. Sorry. Let's continue. So, Mr. Dara. So let's continue. So this is going to be from row what to row what. We are saying country. Country is a column. Can you hear me, Mr. Dara?
Yes, I can.
So
Okay.
country is a column. So I'm still talking about the row.
Okay. That would be David and 0, 1, 2, 3. And Terry.
David and
Terry.
Terry. Thank you. So now this is going to be David. You might be thinking, is it not going to remove one from that Terry? Since we are writing it in full, it's not going to be removing it. Terry, this is for the row. So the column now is going to be from what to what, sir? Look at what we need. Oh.
That's 0 and 2. That would be age and cost.
Age and what, sir?
Cost.
It's not going to be cost. Oh. We're going to stop here.
Age and country. Age and country. Sorry.
So this is going to be age. I'm in the class. What's that? I'm in a class. I'm using all my gadgets. Bring it. Sorry, hold on. Oh. So we have age and country, right? Age and country. So that's going to be our W. Then I can decide to call it out. I can decide to call it out W, and we have this. Can you see it has worked? It has worked perfectly, and that was what we wanted. So any questions before we move on? No question. So can we move on?
Which one is the best practice? Is it the iLock or
Now it depends
lock?
on, there's nothing like best practice. So it depends on you. It depends on what will work for you at that particular situation. Do you understand what I'm saying, sir? It depends on what will work for you at
Yes,
that
I
particular.
do. I do. Mm, I do.
All right. So we move to the next one. We have another table. The name of the data frame here is okay. You can come in. Okay, the name of the data frame here is data, and we have to convert the data frame. We have to convert it to a table. Hope you remember we convert data frames to table. We use our pandas function pd.dataframe. So I don't need to be explaining that again. So we use so I have this data frame, and I can use this function to convert it to what, a table, and I've done that. Someone wants to join the class. Ah, I thought someone wanted to join the class now. Ah, so we have this um so let's talk about aggregation and summary statistics. When we talk about aggregation and summary statistics, we're talking about the sum, the mean, the median, all those things. So how do we do them in Excel? Sorry, in Python. We already know how to do them in Excel. We already know how to do them in SQL. So how do we treat them in Python? So now, the name of our table is called df, and it has the name, the age, and the city. So now, they want something. They want this first column. If you understand from our foundation of Python, this first column, sorry, this first thing I highlighted here would print what I wrote inside this place. right? What I wrote inside that place to print it for me. So that is the reason why we are having this first thing that we have here. We're having it here. Remember when we started Python, the first thing I said was to print hello world, and I kept that hello world inside a quotation, inside a print parenthesis, and I ran it, and it gave us hello world. So now, before I even do this, I want to show you something. We have the H column here. What will I do if I want to find the mean of that H column? What would I do? The first thing I have to do is to call that H column out. How do I call it out? I would say something like this. This is how to call it out first. I will say H. This is it, right? This is the H column. Then if I want to find the mean, then I'll start with okay dot mean. This is dot mean. This is how to find mean. Dot mean. And you see this is the mean H. If I want to find the maximum H, it's still going to be the same thing. df. Sorry. df. Then I have H dot max dot max. If I run that, the maximum here is what 40. That is why we have 40 here. If I change this to mean, I hope you understand it. So now what we want to do is we want our answer in this particular format. So I will say, okay, print this for me, and it will print it out. Then I'll say on the next line, now print average H, comma, you now print this thing for me. This df dot me. I'll write it here. So I can actually print, I can actually have a lot of things I want to print inside that print bracket. So you can print this, and you can also print this inside that same line. So it will just come out as average age to be equal to df age dot mean is already 32.5. That is why I have 32.5 here. The maximum age is this. I hope this is very clear, and this is actually straightforward. So this is how to find the mean, the median, all those things. So now, how do we sort? How do we sort? How do we sort? So let's assume that we want to sort by age. We want to sort by age. So the function to sort is dot sort. Dot sort. That is the function to sort. What was this? So the function to sort is dot sort. The function to find mean is whatever column you want to find the mean dot mean. The function to find max is whatever column you want to find the max dot max. So if I want to sort the table, I will say the table dot sort values. That is the function. Dot sort values. I'm sorting which column? I'm sorting by which column? The age column. I'm sorting by what? The age column. Is it ascending? No, I want to sort this one. I'm sorting descending. That is why ascending is equal to false. If I wanted to sort ascending, ascending will be equals to what? True. True. And if I run this, can you see that sorted the age in ascending order? Ascending means from the lowest to the biggest. Sorry, from the lowest, yeah, to the highest. So if I say descending, if I want descending, I will write ascending equals what? False. And I'll run this. So I've been able to sort.
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, does it mean you can't use descending equals true if you want to sort in descending order?
I don't think so.
Must Okay. It must always be ascending equals to either true or
Yes,
false.
remember our Python too. Sorry, our okay, our SQL we can still write DESC.
Mm.
So here you tell us ascending false. Descending. If I don't, I think if you don't even put anything, the default is ascending. For anything, the default is ascending. So, but if you want descending, you will say ascending equals false. You understand? That's how we
Yes,
do it.
sir.
That is how we do it. So the next thing now, what if I want to add a new column to this particular column? A new column called salary column, and I have the salary here. So what do? I already taught you how to add a new column to a table. So what do? We just write df. The name of the table is df. So df, then you put the salary, that column, the name of that column you want to put. Then you put it in the list. You put the values of that salary in the list. Then you run it. So can you see? From now you can see that okay, we have all of this. This has worked. So we have 50,000, 60,000, 70,000, 80,000. Now, you remember our group by? You remember?
Yes, sir.
Or you didn't remember?
I remember.
Yeah. So now, we can find, we can group by, it is when we have an aggregate function, we use group by clause, right? Nobody's saying anything. It is when we have an aggregate function, we use a group by clause. You remember SQL now? It's only when you are using some, main, that
Yes,
is when
yes,
you
sir.
use group by. Or you have forgotten. Hmm. Don't forget to. So it's only when
So
we have
yes, yes.
it's only when we have a group by function. That is when we do that. So if I want to create a table that has been grouped, that is a group by table, that table that comes out when we use our group by clause in SQL. If I want to use it in Python, how do I write it? The name of the table that will come out, I want to call it grouped. Forget about all of this. Just forget about this. Just look at this. So if I want to um, get my group by table and I want to get the mean now is going to be the mean of all the what um number column that I have. I have age. Age has a number. Age has numbers as what its values. Salary too has numbers as its values. So I want to get this age and salary, and I want to group by the city. That is for New York. What is the average age for New York? What is the average age for Los Angeles? What is the average age for Chicago? This would make sense if you have a very long table that New York is actually occurring more than once. You understand? When you have a lot of New York and you want to find the average, but because it is occurring once, the average is still going to be 25, right? Los Angeles too, if you find the average, it's still going to be 30. So just for classic, that's why we're having this. So now, if I want to group by, the function is just group by. Now, inside the bracket, I will put what I'm grouping by. If it was SQL, I would have said group by, then I'll put city, right? Group by, then I'll put city. So here, I'll put that city inside the bracket. That is what we do here. We put the city inside the bracket. What is the aggregate function I'm using? Me, don't forget. So I'll put dot me. I'll put what? Dot me. Now, this what I did here now. What I did here. How does it look like in SQL? So in SQL, it will be something like this. Let me open my word. So in SQL, I would have written something like this. Let's go back to. I have how many columns showing? Three columns: city, age, and salary. So now I'll have I hope you can see it. Select city, comma, average. We use average, abi? Is it average? Is it yeah, is it average info or AVG?
AVG.
Okay. Is it AVG of what? Of the age as average underscore age, comma. Then we say AVG of salary, right? As average salary from the F group by city. So what I just did now is it's still the same thing as what Python did for us, just that the language is different. The name of our table is the F. So if I wanted to do this in SQL, what will come out? The city, the average age, and the average salary. And that is the same thing that happened here. So the city, then because the only two the only two columns that have their values to be numbers is the age and salary. So we don't need to start writing them out. So we can just use okay, just find the what mean of that table for me. It's going to find the mean of the columns that are numbers. So since it is only these two columns that are numbers, that is why we can easily use this. What if we have a lot of them and we want to select the ones we want to use? I know that's another question you might want to be asking when we get here. How do we write it when we get here? So now, before I get to numpy, who has any question? Please let me know.
Mr. Ahmed, I have a question.
Okay.
This group by, you know, if we're doing this in SQL, we might not want to find the mean of every numerical value. It may just be mean
That
of
is exactly what
age.
I just said.
Oh, sorry.
That I
So how would
said,
that look?
we are coming there.
Okay, okay, all right.
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
If it's only one column, that is, here is we have two columns, so we're writing mean and then bracket. If it's only one column, where are we going to put? What position are we going to put that column?
I didn't get that, ma'am.
This one now is two columns that we're finding mean for. So
Yes,
that's why you now use mean and then that bracket. If it's only one column, like age only, where
that is
what position are we going to put?
that is exactly what he asked. I said we are getting there.
Oh, okay, okay, I didn't hear his question.
I said we are getting there. So before, if you have any other question apart from that, please let me know. There's a reason why I said we are getting there, and that's the reason why I even said it before both of you asked that question. I said that already. So who has um who has a question apart from what he said before we fire on? I want to quickly touch NumPy. Then we can start bringing in tables. The tables we'll be bringing in will have this
No
particular problem.
question. In the sorry, hold on. in the print function for that group by,
You have
what
that
is
slash.
that slash n and why did
I know, I know. We are coming there. We are coming there.
okay.
Though, if you don't put the slash n, it's still working. We are coming there.
Well, I was wondering if it was inside the quotation. I thought that everything inside the quotation will print out.
Yes, I understand.
Exactly.
We are
Okay.
coming there.
Are we still on? Or is the network?
Yes, we are still on. No.
Okay. Okay.
So slash n. Let me just explain slash n before we go. Okay. Let me explain it without saying anything. I'll just show you. Without slash n. Look at it very well. Have you seen it? This is without slash n. So with slash n, what is the difference?
Okay, it give space.
There's a new line. So starting from, not starting
Yes,
from the top.
uh-huh.
It's giving a new
Yes,
line. Starting from a new line, right?
yes.
Um, are we getting it?
I didn't get that one.
Look at it, sir. There's a space here, right? Look at this space. Can you see the space, sir?
Yes? Yes, I can. Yes.
Now let me remove the slash n and run it. Can you see the space is not there again?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so another library, numpy. So we call it numerical Python, numpy. So numpy is a Python library used for working with arrays, linear algebra, Fourier transform, matrices. So this is basically where a lot of your number manipulations, those functions that deals with number manipulations. This is used mostly. You are going to be using data analysis. You are using both numpy and pandas, but there are a lot of functions. When we start doing this now, it's more or less like you are doing. I just want to explain the basis of this numpy to us, how it works underneath. Not necessarily what you'll be seeing. Do you understand? Not necessarily what you'll be seeing, but there are a lot of functions in it that we are going to be using. So even when you start your analysis and you want to start using Python, the first thing you have to do before you start anything is to first import pandas and you also import numpy. Those are the first two things you want to do.
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
This number we didn't install it. I'm not sure I saw it inside that
Inside where?
anaconda.
Which anaconda?
No, inside that anaconda, you have to install
It's only Jupyter
an
notebook you see there now.
yes. So this number, where are we going to get it from?
Okay, because I said the library.
Yes.
You get pandas in that Jupyter anaconda.
No, no, there's no pandas there.
So you don't have to have numpy there too. It's just a library that you just
Okay.
call in. You don't need to look at the way I'm
Okay.
calling it. Import numpy as np. Have
Oh,
you seen
okay.
it?
Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes.
So So we have this particular thing here. Let me run this so we can start our numpy series. Mrs. Perpetua, what is this? This B, what is this called? What type of data is this?
That's integer.
No, I'm talking about the whole thing. You have integers inside of it. What's it called?
The series
No, it's not a
You're not
series.
asking us about
list.
Thank you.
this.
That is a list. That is a list. So, what if I have this? So, what is this?
Series.
Tuple.
So, this is a tuple. This is a tuple. This is a tuple.
What's the difference, please?
The difference is just the brackets now. We talked about it. And majorly, our list is always used in
Okay,
our
in a
list.
bracket.
Yes, now. And our list
Okay,
is
okay.
is
Okay.
what is what is one of the things that formed our table, right? That dictionary. In every dictionary you have your
Mm-hmm.
list, right? You can't have a tuple in it. You have your list in it. Do you understand?
Yes, yes. I'm logged in on the phone, so I can't really see much of it.
Okay, okay, okay. So now I can convert this to an array. An array is similar to a list, but I want us to work with numpy. And numpy can only ask functions that it has to be an array. Those functions, that thing that you want to work with, it wants to work with has to be what? An array. So let's convert this list to an array. How do I convert to an array? Like I said here, an array is similar to a list. So you just don't worry. So even if you convert to an array, this is what's going to be output. It's just going to be an array. Then inside the bracket of the array, you have the list inside. That's just it. So now, how do I convert to an array? I have a list already. The list is called B. So how do I convert to an array? I use a function called np.array. np.array. Then I put the name of the function inside. I put the name of the function inside inside it. So what do I do? If I do that, that's one that I'm turning to an array. I'm putting the function inside of it. I want to call it a. I want to call it a. So if I run this, well, let me run this. I haven't run this. If I run this, I have this. So now, what am I doing? The first element in this array is element 0. This is element 1. This is element 2. This is element 3. This is element 4. So if I want to see element 0, how do I do it? This is how to pick. So it's just more or less like your pandas now. When you want to pick from your table and you want to use I lock and lock. So in this case now, A is the name of my array. So if I want to pick 3, if I want to see what is the first item in that array, I'll put the position of that array inside the bracket. So if I want to see 3, it's 0. If I want to see this 5, it's going to be what? 1. And that's what we have here. So what is the type of A? A type is what? Is a numpy array. Numpy ending array. And what is the shape? So who can tell us what the shape is? Nobody saying anything. So you remember our matrices. So they say the shape of something. This has how many columns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
So I can just say it's a 5 by 1. Do you understand? It is a 5 by 1 array. So there are some arrays that will have multiple. We'll get there. So we have some arrays that have multiples. Look at something like this.
What you go do?
Look at something like this. So this is not can you see? This is 3 by 3. How many columns? 1, 2, 3. How many rows? 1, 2, 3. So the size is what? 3 by 3. Hope it has not scattered. You are still coming there.
Okay, the shape, you start with rows first before column.
You start with column first. This is the column first.
Column
Look at
first.
it.
Okay.
Yes, look at it. Column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5. That is why it is what? 5 by 1. Then you don't really need to write 1 because they know that the least number of rows you can have is 1. So that's why they're not putting anything. So if it's I'm moving like 2 rows now, it writes 5 comma 2. It writes 5 comma 2. And what are we having here? Integer 32. To get the type now, there's a difference between this type and this one. This one is used to get the values inside this array now. What is the data type? They are integers, right? The values inside. So that is what you are using to get the values inside that particular array. So we use a dot to type to get the values inside your array. So now, even if you want to get the value inside your table, not the table itself, because the table itself, if you look for the type of your table, it's going to come out as a data frame. So if you want to get the value of the type of the values inside your table or inside a particular column, you have to use the type. So the type will tell you, okay, this is the type of values I have inside this particular column. So how do we change values in an array? In an array, how do I change values? So in an array, if I want to change values, a dot one normally is what? Let me call out a first, so everybody can see what is. A is this. So a dot one normally, that a of this, that a of this is what? If you look at it, is column 5. Sorry, is this item 5? Am I making sense? Or you are not understanding what I'm saying? Can I continue?
Okay, so okay, we are replacing the value on the
So now,
3
what I
and
want to
5.
do,
Okay,
I want to replace
I want
this
to change
value.
5
I want to replace it to 4.
with 4. Okay, it's okay.
So now, if I want to replace it to 4 now, I will say whatever is in 1 before, that is whatever is in position 1, I want you to put it as what? 4. So I'm saying, okay, represent this now. I want you to represent it as 4. So if I run this, if I run that now, so it's not more 3, 5, it's now what? 3, 4. It's not more 3, 5, it is now 3, 4. 3, 4, 3, 7, 8. So let me come to class and pick someone again. Mrs. Ibironke, can you please unmute your mic? Hello, Mrs. Ibironke. Okay, they don't want to answer us. So let me call on Mrs. Anu. You've not said anything to this class. Where are you? So now I want to change this second three. I
Can you
want to
hear
change
me?
it to 10. I want to change this second three to 10, Mrs. Anu. So help us out.
You want to what?
I want to change this second three, this three. I want to change it to 10. So help us out. How are we going to do it?
A list two
A into
equals to
equals to
you want to change it to what?
10
3. 10 equals to 10.
equals to 10. Thank you. So if I do that now and I do this, so can you see it is now 10. It is now 10. Thank you. It is now 10. So can we also slice our array? Yes, we can slice it. We can slice it. So I'm taking it from where I will start from and where I will stop from. Start, stop, start, stop. So I'm starting from the first one, which is the zeroth position, to the number 3 position. Don't forget you will remove one. Don't forget you will remove one. So this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. This is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. Now, this same thing I can rewrite as something else. I can rewrite as something else. Since I know that 0 is the start position, so I can decide not to write that 0. Since I know that it is the start position. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Since I know 0 is the start position, I can decide not to write it. And I will just tell this person that, okay, stop at number position 3. This is position 3. Stop at position 3. It's still going to give me the same thing. Now I want to show you something. I want to do something else. Let's have A, this, then I have 0, this, and I run this. Now, what is this telling us? Go and stop at the last part of the list of the array. This is telling us that start from the first part of the array. This is telling us that start from 0 position but stop at the last part of the array. If I change this to 1 now, can you see? Starting from what? Position 1. Position 1 is what? 4. So starting from 4 to the what? To the last array. What if I do something like this? Yes. So what I'm saying now is start from the first part of the array and end at the last part of the array. I don't know if you understand now. So that's how to slice a numpy. If I want to do this again, I can decide to write 0, 5. Sorry, to 5. It's still going to give me the same thing. And if I don't want to do that, I can decide to anyhow I want it. You can decide to slice anyhow you want it. So now there's another way we can slice. We can slice by passing steps. What does it mean? You know, if I want to slice from 3 to 10, so now if I want to slice from 3 to 7, what would I say? From 0 to 4. That is the third position. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So I'll say from 0 to 4. But I want you to slice it from 3 to 4. But what you'll be showing me is that when you pick this first column, don't pick the next one. I want you to be going 2 steps, not just 1 step. So if you pick 3, the next number you pick is what? 10. Stop at 7 oh. But if you pick the first one, the next number you pick is 10. Let's assume it is still going. It's not going to pick 7 again. It will pick the next number. Let's assume there's another number. It's going to pick the next number. What I'm saying now, do you understand? If you don't understand what I'm saying, it's going to be like skipping a step. So that's the way I want to pick it. Do you understand? So now, I have from here to here. I want to pick it in such a way that if I pick 3 now, the next number it will pick will not be 4. It's going to skip. It's going to go 2 steps. So step 1, step 2. So it's going to pick 10. It's not going to pick 7. But because that's the end of the list, so I'll be having only 3 and 10. How can I do that? So we can say the start, you put the start point, which is 0, the end point, which is position 3. You write 4, you remove 1, Python will remove 1. And you put the step. So I want to go 2 steps. 2 steps. So if I run that now, it's going to pick only 3 and 10. You understand what I just did?
Yes.
Are
Okay.
you using comma or semicolon?
I'm using colon.
Okay.
I'm using colon.
So comma will not work for this one.
No, 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 no. Come on, no. So now, I already talked about this. So we already know this already. This is going to give us this. So I know we all understand this. So if you don't put anything here, what does it mean? At the step, if you don't put anything here, if I don't put anything at the step, it's just going to consider it as you are doing it normally. The one step you are doing it normally. I hope you can see. This is not having any step. This is the normal thing. So it's starting from what? The second position to the last item. So that is what we are doing from the second position to the last item. Don't forget that we converted this to 10. So it's going to have from the second position to the last item, and the last item is 8. But now what we want to do now is the start is 0, the end point is the position 1, and the step is also 1. It's not 2 now, it's 1. Instead of writing 1, I'll just write, I will not write anything, I'll just put the colon there. So this and this are the same thing. So this and this, they are the same thing. This thing, they are the same thing. Are you seeing this? They will produce the same answer. 3, 4, 3, 4. Because if I'm not putting the step, it means that I'm not adding any step. I'm not adding any major step. It's just going to go the normal way. But if I add maybe 2 here now, I'll be having only one thing here. I hope you understand.
But what if you put that one? If you put that one, what will happen?
What did you say?
You put the one, what will happen?
Nothing will happen now. It's still going to go by one step, which is the normal thing that we do.
Can we put the one? Okay.
I already put the one. Oh. Can you see?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So what does size mean? They ask you what is the size of the array. So size of the array means the number of elements in that array. The number of elements in the array. So if an array consists of that A now, it has how many elements? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what is the size? The size is what? The size
5.
is what? 5. 5
5.
elements. So what if I want to get the dimension? use endgame to get dimension. So you can only have two dimensions. It can either be one dimension or two dimension. One dimension means maybe it has only one row or one column. That's one dimension. That is, it's just coming down like this, straight down. If you look at this now, this is just a row, just one row, or it will just be the other way around, one column like this, down like this. So if it's like that, then it is just the dimension is one. But if it has something like this, look at this. It has rows and columns that are more than one. It has three rows, three columns. So in this case, the dimension is two. It is two dimensional. It is what two dimensional in that case. It is not more one dimensional. It is two dimensional, and you can also get the shape. I've already done that before. The shape is what 5 by 1.
But it has 3 rows and 3 columns. Why is it 2 dimensional?
Dimensional means rows and columns. If it has only one row,
So I'm asking that if it has 3 rows and 3 columns, what dimension will it be?
if I have three rows and three columns, it's still going to be two because I
Uh,
can see I have rows and columns now. But in some case, maybe your values are just rows like this. Sorry, columns like this, or rows like this. Just one. So in that case, I will say I have only what? One dimensional. Do you understand?
okay, we have 4 rows and 4 columns. What will it be?
Two dimensional.
Okay, still 2 dimensional.
Yes.
So it can only be 1 or 2 dimensional.
Yes. So if I have an array, look at this array. 5375290. This array now, I can find the mean of this array. Yes. So and I already told you how to find mean. The mean is going to be what? Dot mean, same function. And to find the mean for us, this. I can find the standard deviation of an array. I can find the maximum. I can find the minimum. I don't want to waste time on this because they are still the same function. They are still the same function. So now, numpy array functions. So now I have an array called B. Look at this array. Uh, let me run this. So let's have this. I have these two arrays, B and C. If I want to add the two arrays together, that is the values in the two arrays. So if I add it up, the new array that will be formed, I want to call that D. So how do I add two arrays together? For me to add two arrays or subtract two arrays, the number of elements in the both arrays have to be the same thing. That is, this has how many elements? 7 elements. This one too must have 7 elements. So I can say 5 plus 3, 8. 3 plus 4, 7. So how do I add? The function is dot add b comma c. So the two arrays I'm adding together will be inside the bracket, separated by a comma. So if I call out d now, I'll have this. This is the new array. I want to have another array that will be multiplication, sorry, subtraction, which is going to be this minus this, this minus this, this minus this. That is why we have this. 5 minus 3 is 2. 3 minus 4 is what? Minus 1. That's why we have this. 3 minus 3 is 0. So that is the subtraction. It can also do multiplication and it can also do what? Division. So you need to understand. Don't forget, for your division and your multiplication, you have to be careful. So if you are saying B minus C, B minus C is different from C minus B. So B minus C, your B must come first. If you are saying C minus B, your C must come first. So please, you need to understand these things. Any question before I move on? No question.
It's okay.
All right. So I have two arrays, P and Q. Look at them, P and Q. Then I want to find the dot product. Dot product is going to do in such a way that it's going to do, instead of doing 4 times 2, then 8, comma, then to do 6 times 3, 18. So I will have my answer as 6, comma 18 normally. What I will have, dot product is going to give me a value such a way that I will say 4 times 2 plus 6 times 3. There are some cases where I want to have that type of what function. So I'll be using the dot function. What am I doing? If you remember, this is like matrices. So I'll say 4 times 2 plus 6 times 3. I just need you to understand what I'm saying. We are not really going into the concept of all of this. Maybe if you are doing data science now, you need to understand this very well. So now, just listen. But you need to understand some of these things, and this thing is simple. I'm multiplying this and this. When I multiplied this together, it just did 5 times 3, 15. It did all of this. But if it was that I'm doing the dot product of this thing now, it will add all these values together again. After doing all these values, you now add them together. So that is the meaning of what dot product. So I'm going to do 4 times 2, which is 8. 4 times 2 is what? 8, comma, 6 times 3 is what? 18. So you should do 8 plus 18 now, which is 26. So that is what dot product will do for us. Any question? Any question before I move on?
It's okay.
Okay. So can I add a constant to values? Look at P. P is 4 and 6. If I add 3 to P, P is an array and the array is 4 and 6. If I add 3 to it, what will happen? It will add 3 to all the elements inside that array. So it will add 3 to 4. 3 plus 4 is what? 7. 6 plus 3 is what? 9. If I add 3 to Q again, let me run this. Don't let me use 3. Let me use something else. Let me use 10 here. If I add 10, 2 plus 10 is what? 12. And 10 plus 3 is what? 13. That is why I have this. Sorry, I said 2 plus 10. 2 plus 10 is what? 12. Then 3 plus 10 is what? 13. That is why I have this. How many of us remember pi? Pi function. Maybe you are looking for the circle, for the area of the circle or perimeter. That pi, that's 72
22
over
over
10,
7.
or 3.14, right? So the numpy has the function pi. So in case you want to use pi in your calculation, you just have to call it out. Np does pi. So if I say np does pi, can you see? This is the main pi, 3.14159. So no, Python is going to bring data for you in several decimal places. So I want to continue from here tomorrow. Tomorrow's class is going to start by 7. I don't know how we are going to do it though, because we already know why, right?
Please, what time is the football match?
9.
Okay.